My name is Richard Hitt. I'm the president of the Wildlands Middle Tennessee chapter. We adopted some bylaws about a year ago, and the bylaws require that we have an annual meeting where we inform the membership what's going on in terms of our finances, programs, and request input from the members about suggestions for the future, things like that. So this is our first annual meeting, even though we're 6 years old and 6.5 years old. So we'll give it a try and see how that goes, and then take it from there. Thank you for coming tonight and for bringing such great food. So this is our official annual report. We're going to review the core messaging, talk about the 2024 events, the financials, the new boards and officers. The officers aren't completely set. But according to our new bylaws, the board members have to be elected by the chapter. You may remember we probably approved the slate of board members last month or earlier this month. Officers can be appointed by the board, so we can tweak the officers as much as we need to, but without the full chapter's approval. Then finally, we just have an open discussion about where we want to go. You may recall that Wildlands rebranded itself January 2024. The national office hired a Canadian marketing research company to interview many of the chapter presidents and chapter members across the country and formulated a new branding for Wildlands. If you're into that, you can go to branding.wildlands.org and read the 20-page or so rebranding document, which includes fonts, colors, phrases like mottos and things like that. So if you're into marketing, that would be fascinating. If you're more like me, not so much. But we are complying with the fonts that we use on our newsletters, the colors that we put on there, they're all approved colors. So it's been interesting. There's the website if you need to see it visually. So it's important if you're a nonprofit to keep in mind what your mission statement is. Ours is Wildlands promotes native landscapes through education, advocacy, and collaborative action. So that's a good mission statement, mainly because it's short and just goes straight to the point about what Wildlands' mission is. And the reason it's important if you're a nonprofit to have a well-defined mission statement is because the actions that nonprofit takes need to support the mission of the nonprofit organization. We are a tax-exempt organization, so the state is losing money on us compared to business when we buy things. When we buy things, we don't have to pay tax on them. When we sell them, we do. But if we donate money to, say, Middle Tennessee Landscape Development Company, and we know for a fact they're bulldozing cedar glades and getting rid of native plants, that would be contrary to our mission statement. And so that could cost us our tax exempt status. Because we're part of the national organization, it could actually have serious ramifications for all the national chapters. So we always have to look at when we make donations as a chapter, and we do a lot of that. That we're donating to groups that fulfill and further the Wildlands mission. There are several other statements on the core messaging page, around page 19 of that rebranding document. But another one that's popular to use is the position statement, which is connecting people and native plants for a healthy planet. So whenever I write up a newsletter, I try to put one of the core messaging statements at the very top in italics. So that over the course of the year, you really get exposed, well, if you read the newsletters, you really get exposed to most of our core messaging. Another one that I like is the vision statement, native plants and natural landscapes thriving in every community. So that's the vision of Wildlands. They accomplish it by promoting native landscapes through education, advocacy, and collaborative action. So these branding statements we just repeat over and over again, so we're like trying to brainwash everybody. And that's one way that our branding is helping us move forward. So each year, the treasurer and the president of each Wildlands chapter has the pleasure of filling out end of year evaluations. For the treasurer, it's not too bad because she's been entering the forms, the information all across the year. For the president, in my case, I enter for each event that occurs, I report how many came, how many were wildlife members, that sort of thing. So all of our events are captured at the moment they happen. So at the end of the year, you just basically press a button and get it reported. There's a lot of other things involved in the final report, the state of the chapter report is called. And those aren't so straightforward. But because we do enter the events as they occur, looking back through the database, last year we had 10 monthly meetings. You might be thinking, well, we got 12 months, so how does that work? Well, this place was out of electricity for one of those meetings, so we didn't have that. Forget which month that was, it might have been September. And we don't meet in November because the fourth Monday of the month rule of thumb doesn't work so well that month. So we just have a meeting in early December that combines the November and December meetings. So we had 10 monthly meetings. We had 12 informal chat meetings. And for those of you who don't know, those are meetings where we just get together on Zoom and we talk about native plant related topics, not necessarily native plants, but things that are peripherally related to native plants or directly related to native plants. Then we talk about other things. That's usually a small group between 5 and maybe 8 people typically. We had, I think, 11 board meetings. Board meetings are open to the public, but I didn't get them all posted on our events page. But so far, I think we've only had one non-board member attend the board meeting. That's proved to be very beneficial. Last year, we had 2 or 3 socials, depending on how you count what a social is, but we had certain, let's say 2.5, which is pretty much par for us. We usually have 2 to 3 socials each year. We had 2 native plant sales or 4 native plant sales if you want to count the online sale, followed by the in-person sale in the spring, and then the online sale followed by the in-person spring and fall. So 2 or 4 plant sales depending on how you count that. We had a lot of volunteer gardening events at Westmead Elementary School. I don't have the exact numbers, so that's WAG, yes. But we got there many Sunday mornings, and several of the years was there about. We had 4 tours. One was with SGI, Southeastern Grasslands Institute, where we visited their seed collection and preparation center, their native demonstration garden on the campus of Boston State University. And then we went to visit a prairie owned by a well-known company that Southeastern Grasslands Institute installed and self-managed that's near Clarksville. The other tours were to member gardens. Here on R2 this year, we toured her garden first, I think, maybe in June. We toured Rita Venables' garden, and then we toured John
Brevard.
John Brevard's garden in downtown Franklin. What was the 4th one?
Me.
Oh, Frill. Right here. So we had a busy Tuesday.
Easily forget it.
So it's nice to see all those different examples of how people are realizing using native plants in their home landscaping. I think that was the most garden tours we've had so far as a chapter, and hopefully keep up with that number and stay around 4 for the local gardens. We had a lot of outreach events. That's where, for example, the Cedar Glade Festival, we had a booth there, Cedars of Lebanon State Park. Our first, we did Earth Day at Centennial Park, had a booth there. That was a busy booth. We did the Green Hills Park Fall Festival. That was another booth event. And there was one more in there, I'm not sure. They kind of run together after we do these several years. But we did, according to my event records, we did 5 booths last year. Oh, the butterfly celebration at Warner Parks. That was fun. So for all of those outreach activities, we try to have some fun demonstrations, items for people to kind of attract people to come to the booths, and while they're there playing with whatever toy we have out, we try to explain what our chapter is all about, what the organization is all about. And when a member, if they sign up for our email will have their name and email. And if that person later joins the chapter, they get tagged in our database as that was the source of that person's original interest in wildlands. And so with that data over several years, we can figure out which events, which outreach events are most effective and which ones aren't. Of course, the all-time one for being most effective was the National Lawn and Garden Show. We've gotten dozens of members out of that show for years, but they closed down after last year, so we don't have that option anymore. We occasionally do plan ID hikes. We did 2 last year. I won't be able to recall exactly what they were. The year before, we did one at Flat Rock State Natural Area in Murfreesboro. One we did last year was also Nature Sanctuary, and totally don't know what the other one was. But we do plant ID hikes at about that rate. We've done water parks before, like I mentioned, Flat Rock. We did Couchville Cedar Glade one year. So we have a small number of typically plant ID hikes that we do. It's nice to be out there and see how the plants are actually used naturally, not have somebody crammed it into their yard. You get to look at the plant and see what containing plants are there with it. It helps you get a sense of design of how you should make your yard look if you want to replicate nature. I still pretty much just get random plants in the yard and see what happens, but I have discovered some interesting things. If you put several aggressive plants in an isolated by concrete area, it's fun to watch over the years who slugs out too. But anyway, whatever keeps you in.
Sadist.
We typically have a book club.
Math professor.
Book club
It's in his
meetings.
blood.
Last year we did the pro book. What was it like? Yeah, The Comfort of Prose by Margaret Winkle. So we took 3 installments on that one. So we don't always do book club meetings in the winter. There's some years when we haven't done it, but most of the time we managed to pick one book and go through it fairly carefully. We did a couple of specialized invasive plant removal trips last year at the Swan Conservation Trust property in Lewis County. I restricted those to just myself and a couple of other wildlife who are experienced with using Garlock 3. It's a dangerous chemical, and I don't want a bunch of people out there spraying each other in the eyes with this thing. It causes eye damage. So when we're doing bush honeysuckle, I'll open it up to the whole chapter. Anybody wants to come volunteer, yeah, we can have at it. Especially if we're just using weed wrenches and no chemicals. And other people have chemical sensitivities, and so they voluntarily don't participate, but we want to keep everybody as safe as possible. That was specifically to remove tree of heaven. It requires, as I mentioned, a pretty serious chemical product, can cause some problems. So that was a good year. I think that was in terms of that's 73 separate events if you add up all those numbers, I think. Now, if you take out, since we were concentrating with a lot of volunteer gardening, if you take those out, that's what, 55 events. And so still a lot of events, just taking that one outlier out. So I haven't done this the previous years because we haven't had annual meetings, so I didn't really put this together. So I think that's a big number and we larger than any previous year. And I think this coming year we can make that even bigger. Any questions about that? Other chapters? Yeah, it depends on the size of the chapter, as it turns out. So if you look at the Tennessee Valley chapter in Chattanooga, they probably had 100 or more events. If you look at the Southern Kentucky chapter, they would have been less than that. It's a fairly small chapter. I'm not sure 50 or 60 members, so there's not a lot of things that they can put together. They do have very high quality events. So I've been very impressed with that chapter. It started in March of 2020. Let's see, what else started in March of 2020? So they had a challenging beginning, but I remember going up there and meeting with them and explaining what Robbins was and how to start a chapter. So our chapter has helped them start just like the Tennessee Valley chapter helped us start. I also helped the Memphis chapter, the Mid-South chapter, get off the ground. And looking back at those times, the central office was not as effective as it is today. There's been a tremendous change in central office. In 2019, for example, they had about a 3.5 FTE staff, full-time equivalent. And when you called up, you got the lowest person in the rank, who would then have to talk to the person up to the rank and then email you back. So anyway, it was really tough getting help as a young chapter. Now they've got an FTE of over 10, and people, we have support at robbins.org that we can email to, and they'll get to it as soon as they can, oftentimes the same day. And if it's a more complicated question, they'll get it for the people they need to get it to. They're very, very helpful, and very supportive. So that's been a big change in the national office. As far as the number of events, some chapters like have a monthly meeting. That's about it. It's kind of like well, I don't know what it's like. Anyway, it's like a monthly meeting, and that's about all they do. That's fine for a small chapter. But we want to integrate ourselves into the community much more than we even have so far. And get the Wildlands organization thought of has to go to people when they plant questions. Patty Hendricks is our chapter treasurer. He does a great job. She has a background that's amazing for this. And so this is kind of small potatoes for her. She has a corporate background. The national website is made keeping track of chapter financials is a very easy process. They can use Google Sheets. That's how we report the end of the year information. It's extremely well organized. They don't have to know every single detail, and they don't have to keep receipts for every single thing we do, but it has to be organized very well. And so Patty's been doing a great job with that. The first spreadsheet is about 40 columns wide and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not showing that, but I thought I would just summarize our financials. As of, let's see, what is today? Bingo, it's 27th. As of, well, this is as of yesterday. Let's say today. We had $3,000 in Pinnacle checking account. Pinnacle's the bank we use. We have a savings account there. It still pays, a fraction of a percent of interest. We were moving money around. And for example, the proceeds from the fall plant sale went into Pinnacle savings. That's about $6,000. That got that savings account out of whack. We prefer to keep money in our CD, certificate of deposit. We took one out on July 1st, 2024. That's when we moved from Regions, which didn't have that offering to Pinnacle because they have a CD offering. And we set up for a 4-month CD at 4.5%, which beat the 0.01% we were getting at Regions in our savings account. Not picking on Regions because somebody has to do a savings account right now. We did have an inverted yield curve there, meaning the short CDs paid more interest than long-term CDs. That's called an inverted yield curve. So we only took out a 4-month CD at that point. Our Pinnacle advisor is outstanding. He's on several boards of directors across the state, including Austin State University. And she gives us, we feel like, very good advice. After 4 months, whatever 4 months is after July 1st, we renewed the CD at a slightly lower 4-month interest rate, still doing pretty good. That first 4-month period, we earned almost $500 interest. So that's $499 more than we would have had in savings account in 2 years. Our total cash at this moment is $44,391. Another slide, and I'll pause for questions. If you look at income and expense, our income comes from several streams. Dues reimbursement. We've been a chapter long enough now. We get the minimal amount sent back to us from the national organization. When you're a young chapter, you get over half of the dues coming back from national, but you're supposed to devise your own revenue raising events, which we've done. And so now if you sign up and pay a $40 household membership, we get $10 back and $30 stays in cash. If you make a wildest member join, that's, what is that, $100 now? 90 of that goes to the chapter, and you still get 10. So we don't get any different amount, no matter what level you sign up. Guess who made that really well? Not us, the national. We did get a $1,600 donation on December 5th. This person wanted to remain anonymous, and we don't have a mechanism for doing that. So the Community Foundation in Middle Tennessee, which we're a member of, brokered that donation for us. And so we got that who gave it. Somebody in this room. But anyway, that's the first big donation we got. Biggest donation that I remember getting before that, $60. That came from one of our members who wanted to sign up at the wildest rate. When I explained to him what that meant, he wanted to give us $60, but national only had $40. I don't promote that. I support the national organization, but in the state of Tennessee, you're on the board of directors of a nonprofit, you have a fiduciary responsibility to look out best interests. And so I can defend my doing that because I had to put the interests of the local chapter in the national. That's a joke, more or less. Now then, our seed sales have grown. I remember the first seed sale we made at Alcil, a few people showed up at plants one Saturday morning. I think it might have been in December, I'm not sure. And Alcil sold a lot of their merchandise, their cups, their sweatshirts and stuff. We sold a few plants, so our cut of that plant sale was $63.30. So that's our very first plant sale. Since then, we've grown to where we can do a revenue of $15,000 or $16,000 that we also split with Alcil. We have a lot of expenses now, so we take the expenses off, split the rest 50-50. And it's typically around, like this past fall, was $6,000 for us, $5,700 for Alcil, because it's some expense things. So that means we can probably make $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 a year on our plant sales. So that's just a recent improvement in our sales. We've been doing that for the past couple of years now. So that would mean that we have a total income on a typical year of around $17,000 for plus or minus. The spring plant sale after the Christmas 2022 freeze was our best plant sale ever. So the plants were flying out the door on that one. So we just need another horrible Christmas freeze. On the expense side, things are pretty well in control. We rented this room for $190 a night. And we had 10 meetings, I think you noticed in the first slide, so that's $1,900. If we try to find a comparable room, it may cost us more, but we can't find one less than $190. And really, if we were a state organization like Master Gardens, we could get it for $100. If they charge us $90 for a cleaning fee, if you're a state organization, they don't do that. So we have to rent it under the non-state contract rather than the state contract. We offer speakers $100 when they give us a presentation. We will probably be upping that because we're kind of under other groups like the Criminal Plant Society. But we only had 3 speakers who wanted to accept their money or direct us to donate it to their nonprofit. Hey, we didn't have any money back then. we wanted you to pay $100 for the privilege of speaking. You don't know that's Brian Hendricks. He was our first presenter, and we were a season chapter back then, and that was October 16, 2018 at Warner Parks Nature Center. So Brian is the guy who kicked us off. It's been 7 years. Don't say that. Now, in the expense category, donations are money that we give to other nonprofits. I don't have the list in front of me, but it's things like Friends of Water Park, Friends of Green Hills Park, Tennessee Environmental Council, Tim Green, I think that's what it's called now. And a few more. We had we did the National Food Project and another sort of unrelated.
Native American Indian Association.
American Indian Tennessee Association. And there are probably a couple of others there, but it amounted to $14.75. We typically donate $100 or $150. Last year we gave the Friends of Green Hills Park $200 because they bought an expensive piece of equipment that we wanted to help them with. So these are small donations spread across a wide group. For outreach, we do spend money. We buy a lot of brochures, print banners, do whatever we need to do to try to have things that we can give people at the outreach events. So I just took sort of a wild ass guess. That was $300, and then next to go back and look at each thing. So roughly $4,000 for our expenses, $17,000 for our income. So we have a pretty strong cash flow at the moment. We are looking for ways to spend more money to promote our mission, like we can fund, school gardening projects, garden installations, say, $500 for school. But then we've got to have a person to review the questions, a person to generate the Google form questions, reply, and so it takes a while to develop that. That's on the radar, things like that. And so other ways we can give our money back to the local community or things that we're doing in, as long as we do it in the ways that makes need sense. So between the snapshot of where we are and the yearly possibilities, do you have any questions or comments? There's still more time for questions and comments at the very end, so. So here, I think I've already reported this chapter, our 2025 board members are 4 of our 5 board members in 2024, plus 3 new board members. And so one of the new ones is Carol Bartu, who's gardening tour last year. Donnie Bryan is returning, that's me. Rose Nasir, and it's a new board member. She's on the board of the Critical Plant Society, I believe. Yeah, so she's all sorts of board experience, so she can educate us all on what to do. Returning is Paul Prill, and new is Krista Bailey Wilson. She contributes a lot of interesting posts to our Facebook page and other things. And so the chapter elected board members, 2024 board members were the committee that came up with a slate of officers, self-serving as it is. And then the chapter ratified that with a vote of 37-0. So you can imagine out of 208 members or what we have, it's not that exciting to just go ratify. You're not going to change the outcome. So that 37-0 is plenty of, I'm glad that many people bothered to vote. And the committees are still being worked on, so nothing here is set in stone. But on the member, we lost our membership chair, Alicia Allen, who did a great job. She's a great person. Personal things came up and she can't do it anymore. And so Rose is going to work with me until we get another person on the membership committee. I know what to do, and so I can explain that to Rose, and she already knows some of what to do. But we want to improve our communication with new members, make sure they get a welcome email explaining the things that are local to our chapter. They already get a national welcome. The national office doesn't know, we do them for it, every month, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to improve on that, so we engage our members from the very beginning. We're going to have now a marketing and social media committee. And Chris, are you still interested in that? Okay, so that was the loose link on that one. Chris is going to chair that committee. Carol Bartu is going to look after the Instagram component. Krista Bailey Wilson is going to look after the Facebook component. And if somebody wants to take over any other social media component, you're welcome to help out. But that's getting this. Krista's been doing a good job for a while on Facebook. And then if she clicks a button, it also cross-posts Instagram. So our Instagram followings have also shot way up. But Carol paid special attention to Instagram and these things on there other than just cross-post from our Facebook. We've always had a plant sale committee, but it's always been just me. But we have a lot of volunteer plant sales, so that's wonderful. We had 16 different people volunteering last year for that 1 week period at the plant sale. So our volunteer efforts really took a big jump up last spring and fall.
And it's very much appreciated.
Yes, Paul says it's very much appreciated because he's here every day. So he wants all the help we can get. For outreach, we have not had a separate outreach committee before. It's just been maybe me, whoever I could twist an arm, like Joanna Paquetta, or somebody go to Paul Prills. They're very good about helping me out. So Mary, are you still interested in doing some outreach? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so we're gonna add Mary in there, Mary Conde, and see how it goes. In particular, we want to get cracking on some materials because on March 22nd, we have a usual a very unique event coming up for Nashville. We have our first annual Native Plant Symposium. It's going to be the National Native Plant Symposium at Warner Park Nature Center. We have 9 wildlands members on the steering committee. 9 out of the 16 steering committee members are wildlands members, and almost all the presenters are wildlands members. All but one, I think. The board voted at its last meeting to offer Joy Bowman a complimentary membership. And so she's going to join 4 of her Wonder Gift and Garden company. And so that'll save her $250 the first year. And then after the first year, if she wants to renew that, we can't give her a complimentary membership the second year. Each chapter gets 3 complimentary memberships each year. They can distribute to people in the community. Typically, someone like Joy, who is promoting wildness like crazy, but has a new business and just can't be a business member just yet. So, the email reply I got to her from today was just off the charts and cycles. That's good. So with that, almost one of the speakers is going to be a wildness member at the Climate Symposium. But we want to have it. So we're supporting the symposium with a $1,000 donation. And that's directly linked to our mission, so that's a kind of a no-brainer. But for the $1,000 support, we get to have a booth there at the symposium. And that's going to be a perfectly targeted audience to us. There'll probably be around 100 registrants. We'll have a booth, there'll be 4 other booths potentially. And because we have 2 other $1,000 sponsors and two $2,500 sponsors for that symposium. So that means that next year, we'll be able to bring in some high-powered speakers from all over if we choose to spend this $10,000 in that way. We'll have to figure out how to do it, but that's going to be pretty exciting for next year. It's going to be pretty exciting for this year, even though we're using local talent. Another committee I'd like to have her committee chair would be a merchandise committee chair, so we could have some T-shirts and whatever, notepads like Basic Plant Control has. We could have our own branded pins. Who doesn't love that? But that takes you need a little bit of graphic arts experience to do that. It turns out I jumped into Bonfire or one of those other vendors, and then it kind of got over my head on the graphic art design, even though they say they make it as easy. Even a 5th grader can do it. But anyway, that would be high on the list of other committees or committee chairs at least. And there's some other ones that I'm going to share with the, not tonight, but share with the group in the next newsletter. That may be on the next page. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. So our newsletter, I'm always writing down the newsletter. Kristen Bailey Wilson has agreed to write some featured articles, like she was posting on our Facebook page. And Chris may or may not want to serve as if I have a question, I can't do it because I don't know how to use WordPress. Chris might be able to help me out. So whatever level that you feel comfortable participating in, but I don't expect you to be cranking out newsletters regularly. But Chris has a background in WordPress. When I learned web programming in the early 90s, we just took a text editor, wrote HTML, coded directly HTML, uploaded it to the server, and off we go. And so now that we have things like WordPress, where really a 5th grader can do web pages now, I'm kind of out of my element. Volunteer coordinator. We don't have a lot of volunteer work, but we need somebody who can be familiar with we use signup.com. I tried Signup Genius, but I wasn't smart enough to sign up. And we're using that now. Have you been using it since the very beginning, I think, probably started in 2019. So it's a real simple interface. We can get people to sign up for things like Potluck Socials, but also volunteer efforts. We do the basic plant removal someplace, we can have a sign up for that. So we want someone else other than me to be familiar with sign up. If Mary, you want to do that, that's fine. But feel free to not trying to.
No, I'm down.
These are based on, we asked, what would you guys like to help out with? And people sent us lists. They didn't say, well, I want to do every one of these things. They were telling us what they thought they might be able to handle. So I appreciate that. Just want you to know you don't have to do it just because you put it down on a piece of paper. Occasionally we have need for graphic arts help. We don't really need like a full-time graphic art. We don't really need a committee that's there year-round to handle our graphic arts needs, but occasionally, like if we're doing an outreach project, we want to do something. So people who are volunteer to do occasional graphic arts, Chris Bailey Wilson, Chris Bernstein, and Barry Conrad. Okay, with everybody, okay. We don't have a social committee, but we don't do a lot of social stuff, so I'm not sure how important that is. So I've kind of gone down, decreasing the rank of importance in my mind on this list. But if somebody wants to take up the social committee aspect, that would be helpful in the sense that that would be their one job. So all they have to do is make sure they get these 2 or 3 socials each year, and they're good to go. Whereas if you're just a board member doing 2 or 3 other things, it's easy to just kind of forget about that. So to combat that, we've actually created a template for an annual calendar. June, we do yard troopers, whatever. So we don't let these things slip under the crack and go unnoticed. But still, if somebody has an interest in doing this, the social committee, that would be great. So the major thing that we wanted to accomplish with this shift from 2024 to 2025 was to not just have the board sitting around doing everything with its 4 or 5 members. We want to have these separate committees that we will coordinate them with. The board itself will be doing all of the work. And things like membership chair, you don't need to be a board member. So oftentimes the membership chair is, but it's not required at all. If you're going to be secretary, you've got to be on the board. That's like in the bylaws. If you're going to be treasurer, you've got to be on the board. But these other sort of assignments doesn't require being on the board. That's all I've got to say about that. We can move on. Oh, good. Wow, that's really upsetting. I think it's actually uncentered. It's just something that I did wrong setting this up. So what do you think about all that? Do you have suggestions or something I didn't cover that you really want to see Watkins doing? We would like to work that in. Grab a microphone for all of you.
Oh, sure.
Turn it on.
And turn it on.
Speak.
Sounds like it's already on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody who stepped up to volunteer, because I've only been doing the board stuff for 2 years now. And I got involved because I was watching Richard run himself crazy, trying to do everything. And so this is a great help to everybody's on the board, and a really great help to Richard, who won't have to do everything, although until he can figure out some way to pass the mantle of presidency over to somebody else, he'll still do a lion's share of things that go on here.
Thank you, Paul. I do appreciate all the help.
Richard was already crazy.
I know. That's why those of us who are already crazy,
Back at the beginning.
those of us who are already crazy joined him, so.
Anything else?
I would just like to say, if you haven't been to Joy's Wonder Garden, treat yourself.
That was awesome.
Go visit. It's a very difficult task to get a business like that launching. And, I hope we can support her as much as we can.
Donnie was just saying how wonderful it is to have Wonder Gifting Garden as a resource now. And it occurred to me, Donnie, that even though we can't use the national complimentary membership after this 1 year, there are other ways we could do it. We could have a Wildlands plant sale day out there where our members go and buy whatever they need from Joy and give her a pop in revenue for at least that one day, or a week, or whatever. But there are other ways we could do to help her out if she's still not comfortable spending the minimum for a business membership, which is $250. So let's keep that in mind. We want to support Joy, and she has supported us. She gave us a nice talk, and she talks us up in her business. So it's definitely a good resource to have to complement more established things like nurseries like Grow Up, which is a phenomenal resource for us to have here in Nashville. Well, very.
I was gonna say, it's almost the same distance from me to her places as to Grow Up.
Yeah, Grow Wild doesn't have all those pretty gifts and all.
They've got Terry.
How are we doing on time? Okay, anything else that, you wanna talk about? Say it now, be around for a while.
Forever hold your peace.
Talk with me privately, that's fine too.
And we have a huge selection of freebies tonight, so take lots of seeds and things home with you.
A huge collection
Yeah, that's
on our
really good,
3D
Chris.
swap table. It's not so much a swap table with a 3D, but, lots of plant seeds back there from Chris. I haven't even looked at the other stuff, what's there. But, I want to thank everybody for coming and, Patricia,
Couple of announcements,
can you,
Hold on.
get the microphone there?
There we go.
a couple of announcements, March 28th, Bartlett Tree Experts, will have a workshop right here. And this is, Friday. Bartlett Tree Experts, they do this every year, it's free, and they give you lunch, and it's always a good lunch, and it's like 8:30 to 2:30. Just find out a lot more about trees that that I want, And I'm always learning, they always bring in some top-notch, researchers to talk. And, arborists can get, continuing education points, and landscapers can do the same. The other thing is on, Arbor Day, it's coming up, the Arbor Day ceremony for Nashville is March 26th, and that's Wednesday, and the mayor is finally just confirmed that, and it's always there. And it's in the morning, usually like 10 to noon, and there's always free tree seedlings available, from the division, state nursery. And, it's usually at the East Nashville, Community Center. East Nashville.
Let me make one more. Go ahead. Are you done, Patricia? Are you done? March the 1st is Weed Wrangle weekend. And the Mill Creek Watershed Association is doing a weed wrangle at Orchard Bend Park over in Antioch. Right off Antioch Pike. Is that right? Antioch Pike, yeah. And we're doing the hidden Greenway trail area, which they had done 2 years ago, I guess. And so we're going back there to try and see what more damage we can do. If you're like me and enjoy nothing better than pulling honeysuckle out of the ground, by all means, just let me know and we'll get you on the list of people who volunteer.
This is the way that spots. Let you know, it's sort of like. So it's not- By the way, so you know, people that were there, have to